In fact, last week there is one more sample. One of my close friends, he had a great company, and I was trying to mentor him, and he was telling me that I am facing a lot of cash flow problems, and I'm not able to grow the manpower and all that. I introduced him to one of my friends in the real estate segment. Why don't you look at investment, because he needs money immediately, because I am also general partner in a fund called Succeed Innovation Fund. So we take at least 3 to 4 months, right? Am I telling more? 3 months, yeah. So for a small fund, we take 3 months. If VLK kind of a big fund, it takes 6 months. Oh, good. They're competing, good. So, but he wanted money immediately. I mean, the burn is so much, and he was not able to, lot of frustration. So, thankfully, that person whom I introduced, he said, Jay, because you are giving the reference, I am putting $500,000 in this company, and now he got the money, now he is trying to take the company to the next level. So, reason why I am telling all of you, it's not necessarily only angel investors or venture capitalists have to step in. Hyderabad, I see lot of high net worth individuals. Like for example, I also invested when I sold my company to NVIDIA, I invested lot of land in my native place in Anantapur. It's a kind of a dead investment. Now I am feeling I should have invested that in some good startups, help the startups to create more jobs. Even though I lose some money in some startups, at least in the nation building activity, my money will be useful to somebody who is going to create wealth, create jobs for the country. So I request all the all the investors, HNIs, particularly I request HNIs, look at how you can meet a startup company, particularly initial stages when they don't have any money, because a lot of angel forums and all that, they only look at when they cross that first level. But before they cross the first level, they get into the death valley, the so-called software startup death valley. So why don't we all talk to them and see whether we can give some oxygen when he is in ICU. So that's what I think all the HNAs can do. I request all of you who are present here, please look at, because this is the time for India. Otherwise, whatever you are seeing all good things, there may be some problems in the coming future because of the AI tools, because of the new technologies. If that really happens, what will happen? Even our real estate business may not grow. If IT industry is not there, even so, to protecting your own industry, please start investing in startups. See that many startups from India will succeed, and also they will become. We should create Apples or Microsofts or Google from India. The time has come. We have a very big market. I think we can definitely make it happen. With this, I really want to thank once again to all my invited guests who have come here. I also want to thank MSR for giving excellent support for us, and we want to make T-Hub as our partner, and we are going to sign an MOU with T-Hub. And Hyderabad, definitely we have a lot of good friends are there. In fact, when I was talking to Vamshi, he said, I have a good idea. Why don't we discuss related to how we can help the startups. So everybody, let everybody think, what is that I can do to help the startups? Just 1 hour a week. You don't have to think more than that. 1 hour a week, you donate the time. What is that I can do for helping a startup ecosystem so that they will survive and succeed? So with this, I once again thank everybody. For particularly, I want to thank the media friends, and I want to thank all the startup founders who have come here. Definitely, you have a great story. All of you can become successful. Thank you.
दुनिया बदल रहा है, देश बदल रहा है, हैदराबाद भी बदल रहा है. Imagine an event in Hyderabad which is starting at 9:15 in the morning, right? I'm seeing so many of you. Right? So So first of all, when I look at this stage and when I look at this audience, right, I don't know how many of you uh, actually have seen this Avenger, Marvel series, right? This is like a collection of superstars and, superheroes. So first of all, thank you for all being here. So when you think about an entrepreneurial ecosystem, right, what do you need? Obviously, you need startups, you need large companies, you need industry bodies, you need industry associations, you need VCs, you need government and policy makers, all of them to come together. And this is really an awesome event. So first of all, Jack Garu, as I call him fondly, congratulations for putting this together. It is really an awesome labor of love, right? It is really so heartening. I was telling VLK that we must find out what he actually breathes, okay? Because obviously it's some air which we don't breathe, right? So some of you may know he's just gone through a major surgical procedure less than a month ago. But sir, kudos and hats off to you and your team of volunteers for putting this together. I'm sure a lot will be said today. I'll keep this short. But again, I think this purely, getting this whole community together, right? And I think we've talked about over the last year and a half, we've talked about what it will take for us to build Hyderabad to get its rightful place under the sun in terms of building a really world-class ecosystem. We have all the, necessary ingredients. We have talent available in plenty. We have fantastic infrastructure. I don't think any other city in India has infrastructure which can even come within a mile of what is being built in Hyderabad. An extremely supportive government. Very few governments in India, forget not India, but the rest of the world would invest the kind of capital which has been gone into building something like T-Hub, T-Works, and the upcoming image behind. So we have all the ingredients. We are an entrepreneurial class, so India's largest infrastructure companies, India's largest pharma companies come from Hyderabad. So there's no reason why we cannot become sooner or later the number one, entity from a IT and from a startup perspective, right? So good to see all of this together. And again, for all the founders, we know today, unfortunately for over the last few months, it's been all doom and gloom, right? Funding winters, governance issues, slowdown of capital coming in, etc. But remember, after every winter, spring comes, right? Or after every, darkness, there is dawn, right? So things will get better. I think you just have to be persistent, keep the faith. You have a great ecosystem which is being put together. There was another initiative which Satish was leading. We had a great event on the 4th of May, along with support from Manisha and her team. So it's good to see so many things coming together. I think while in some ways it might feel that there is a perfect storm, it's actually coming together in a really positive sense. And we can now start to see how we can all collectively work together to make sure we create not just, one measure, of course, is unicorns. Well, that is important. It's also about building sustainable businesses which scale, which create jobs. I think Jack Garu referred to the fact that India needs more job creating entrepreneurs, right? And this is a great, pleasure to be associated with the curtain riser here, and look forward to building a truly world-class entrepreneurship ecosystem in Hyderabad. Thank you.
We'll probably spend the whole day out here, I guess. So anyway, first of all, Jay Garu, so thank you very much for leading the way. And like MSR and I spoke, very special energy. I think a lot of startups are looking at alternate energy sources for, EV and hydrogen, etc. Please tap Jay Garu. So that could be one source of energy for all of us. So truly inspired by what you're doing. Happy to be associated with this. Very simple message. I think timing is right. I think everything is coming together. From a world perspective, India is sitting in the right place, right time, right opportunity. And all of us are here in this room is a reflection of that. So more importantly, I believe that the self-belief that we have today is what's going to make the difference. So looking forward to great connections, which leads to conversations, which leads to great relationships. Looking forward to a great day. Thank you very much.
For me, I was just here a few months back. Then I would like to say a few words about Jay Garu. Actually, without him, I would not have had a company. And he's the one actually gave us the first internet connection in Hyderabad when we first started. A lot of people may not know, want to recognize, I really kind of call him almost, Hyderabad, IT, sector, father of IT sector, especially. And a lot of people may not know, a lot of young people, when I started my first company in 1996, we take it for granted right now. You can get, maybe 20 internet connections or maybe 100 cell phones. But even getting a phone connection used to take 3 months. And so it was a big dish on our building. Jay Garu came to our office and made sure like we had internet connection. So thank you, sir. Again, he was in Dallas, as MS Garu mentioned. I don't know how he gets his energy and what he went through recently. And he was in Dallas for an event we hosted. Close to 250 people came. That is especially, serving people in the US, not even here. So think about how he thinks about a global, problems he can solve. So thank you, sir. Again, I would like to say a few things about really, for founders, especially, again, congrats. Give a big round of applause to people who showed up here today, right? If I look at really, when I started my company, we did not have any mentors at all, really, especially people look like us, right, in the US. So they used to think if you start a company, you become a CTO, somebody also going to come and run your company. That's the way the whole platform was in the US. But I'm happy to see there's so many mentors available right now and a platform from the government. We should thank the Telangana government creating the T-Hub platform. And pleasantly, especially getting MSR Garu to lead the stuff. I have seen so much energy after coming, sir, here. I'm seeing every month like how much activity is happening, people like us, able to participate. Thank you, sir. Again, one thing I would say, like really, please, I know somebody mentioned it gets lonely. It does get lonely being a founder and CEO. I've been through that one. Even after raising $55 million in 2000, we did not have any, kind of founders and all that. I founded only about Thai after raising the money. So please take advantage of what SAR started right now, meet these mentors. Don't worry about really fundraising. First, get your product, that's what I kind of call it, get a product market fit. Or focus on a painkiller versus vitamin. That's all I can say. So I think you will succeed if you focus on painkiller. Thank you.
Jay Garu and his entire Lagan team, for making this happen. I think even, the union government level and across the world, it's very, very clear, right? Startups contribute to GDP. Startups create, employment. They pay more direct and indirect taxes, also create wealth. So I think it's very clear. And for startups, I think the most important things, apart from raising capital that they need, finding customers and mentors or advisors who are committed, right? So I think ISF making that available is very, very precious. So we should all be very thankful and of course take good advantage of what they're making available to everyone out there. My only submission, I've been an entrepreneur before starting Venture Capital Fund. A lot of us, because of either media or peers, or we believe that raising money is the only thing, right, in the journey of entrepreneurship. And that's not the truth. Actually, whether you raise capital or not, it does not matter. What you want to do is solve a real problem and then obviously reach out to customers that care about solving the problem and have the right unit economics so that you can build sustainable and viable businesses. It's okay, if you are on Shireen Bahn's show or ET or Forbes, whatever, even if you are not there, it does not matter. I think as long as you can create a good company, create employment, make sure that your company is viable and is able to deliver value, I think that's very sacrosanct and that's a great journey. So all of you today, who are here, who are going to pitch, don't expect to walk out with term sheets. I think you're networking with people, you're learning from other peers, and then Obviously, these relationships blossom and then kind of turn into transactions at certain points of time. Wishing you the very best, and again, thanks to ISF for such a noble cause. Thank you.
I think what I've seen in the last couple of years, especially, I live just next door, and the transformation which has been happening just in front of my eyes in terms of not just the building, but the activity that's happening within the building. So I think, thanks and kudos to MSR for actually kind of making that happen. I'm sure, a lot of us spoke about here, what exactly it takes. What I see is when we speak to a lot of entrepreneurs or founders, I think everyone is really looking at, how do we get capital, right? I think I definitely feel there's much more we can leverage out of this network than capital, like whether we get access to customers or early stage angel investors, like what JR was mentioning, or, just accessing the team to build a great team as such, right? So I think there's so many things which are beyond just the funding as such. And I think things are much more easier, I would say, to start up right now versus, what it used to be like maybe 10 or 15 years ago when, some of us started and gone through the journey. I think access to capital, access to networks, access to customers is all within your reach. And it's just about how you go about doing that I think is a very key important thing. And one of the things is that, as a founder, I think we always feel rejected a lot. And I think 99% of the time you are rejected. The only thing I've learned is that there's one check that is waiting out there for you. You need to just go find that, right? And, I'm 1000% sure that you have that check written on your name. You just need to go how and find it. So as long as you're on that journey, I'm sure you'll get there. But I think this is a great initiative, and I'm sure with more and more support which is happening from the ecosystem, I think we'll be able to thrive and build larger and greater companies, not just from the country, but more, I would say more on Hyderabadi. So I'd love to see what we can do out of here. So thank you for having me here.
15 days back, I happened to be in a large group of 22 people from the American Chamber of Commerce members. These are mostly the CEOs from Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Bank of America. Many of the CEOs were there. We were all there in Washington, DC. We were meeting one of the senators, and those who probably lived in Indianapolis. Currently it is Todd Young. And we walked into the meeting just like any other catch-ups that we were doing as a part of the door knock for 1 week. And I must say that it was such a great elation for me. In fact, I was levitating sitting in that room when 10,000 miles away from Hyderabad, a senator from Indianapolis is talking about Hyderabad as a city. He was talking about KTR. He's talking about how beautiful the infrastructure is. And I'm sorry to say, I love Bangalore. I lived there for 16 years. I still love that city. When the HP CEO is talking about Bangalore, you should see that Todd listened to it for nearly 45 seconds. And then he says, I still like Hyderabad. So just imagine you're sitting here, and maybe we might have never imagined sitting in a place like this, and just look out. It doesn't even feel this is city of Hyderabad. So a beautiful infrastructure is already present, and I'm certainly looking forward to where we will be 5 years from now. For that, we need great platforms, and ISF is one of them. The serendipity it can create by bringing educational institutions, investors, startups, and people like me who is nowhere connected to the system. I have a full-time job with a company, and I can do a lot of pro bono work, but it's giving me an opportunity to even take this as a platform to give it back to either the startups or the investors or the entire ecosystem. So I would say it's just a start. And if we don't act on this, even the smallest companies or countries like Vietnam's can just take us over in no time. And for us, this is an excellent opportunity to look at how do we use this as a platform to not just only create jobs, but also innovate. And if we have to survive, that's the only way to make it happen. And I would say that this platform could probably do that 5, 6, 10 years from now. So I certainly congratulate all of you making time to come over, and thank you for giving me an opportunity, Jay Garu. And couple of my friends told, like we have diesel, petrol, we also have a new fuel called Jayagar. We have to come out with a new name. And he is the one who puts all that energy around. So thank you for involving me here. Thank you very much.
Opportunity. Startups pitch for the investments and so on. Let me pitch entity for the startups. Entity Data Business Solutions is part of the 30 billion Entity Data Group, which is part of 120 billion Entity Corporation. Spend around 3 billion yearly on research. Have been working in the India ecosystem and acquired and partnered with more than 20 startups in the last 3 years. Two have them been in Hyderabad. We actually acquired 2 companies. I have a team of 3 people who are sitting there today, will be very keen to listen to the startup stories. And we intend to partner with right startups who can help us promote our story, also can contribute to the India's nation building. I'm also the convener for the CII Startup Digital Transformation Panel and play a very active role in my district also. I'm from Adilabad, and if you have heard some IT tower coming up in Adilabad, I was the one who was kind of promoting, and we started 5 startups in Adilabad in last 1 year. It is IT, food processing, renewable energy, these 3 areas, 5 startups from supposed to be one of the backward districts. Imagine what we can do when we come together as a community, as a nation. From that perspective, I'm quite hopeful of what we can accomplish. I wish the very best for all the startups who are going to pitch their stories, and also it is not about you pitching. I think I want all of us also to be able to attract the right startups and pitch ourselves so that we find the right fit, and we let the startups live their dreams as they progress. Thank you again, and Jay Chaudhary Garu and all the dignitaries on the dais, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for the kind introduction. And Jay Garu, a big congratulations, a very successful event. I think it's much needed in a city like Hyderabad. We have the right infrastructure like T-Works and T-Hub, and we have the entrepreneurial ability. And coming from media and entertainment, I think we are at the cusp of disruption with AI and technology. There are many areas where media and AI can disrupt the traditional way of media is produced and consumed. And I think it's a great time, and Hyderabad is best suited because of the media hub, the visual effects, the CG and animation industry and the filmmaking industry. We are well positioned to take advantage of all this, and these initiatives and the infrastructure being provided by the government, I think will really drive this innovation. I really look forward to this and look forward to, with personal interest, some startups from the media and entertainment space. Thank you, Bomber.
In most of the phrase, we word make it succeed, make it happen. So succeed is one of the commonly used word, and that's what I represent. I'm lucky to have worked with Jay Garu since 2019. First time it started with Hyderabad FinTech Forum. Then we were fortunate that he agreed to join Succeed Innovation Fund as a GP. And then in 2022, we started to work on ISF. It's taking much bigger shape, and I'm sure gradually it will start to make impact. We are already seeing some glimpse of it. We spoke about winters, right, in the funding. For a startup, they need 3 things largely, right, other than the product. Mentors who would help them believe in their vision, money, which is obviously helping them scale, and market access, which ultimately the product you built, how do you take it to the market? ISF as a platform can organize all 3, and we can probably see with the examples quoted, right, that we've got right mentors, there is money at disposal if you are in a right segment, and there is obviously a market access with the help of all the established folks which in the room. If you are able to use these 3 M's, and these 3 M's have been picked up from MSR Garu's presentations, there were actually 2 more, but I've forgotten those 2, right, or 6. So as long as we are focusing on these 3, we are good. Everybody from ISF team who has been making it possible, there are many soldiers who are doing their work as a volunteer, and I see some of the friends in the room. Thank you for doing this collectively. At Succeed, we invest in early stage fund. There is no winter for us. We are a well capitalized fund. We've done 35 investment last year. We've already done 11 investment in this year. So if you are in early stage fund, you know who to reach out to, and we'll continue to support you in the coming years too.
Today when I drove in, the security guard told me that parking is full. And I felt, oh my God, at 9 a.m. in Hyderabad on a holiday, only Jay Garu can make the parking full. So can we please clap for this successful event which Jay Garu has put together? And I represent HYSIA, I serve HYSIA as president. Some of you may wonder, what is HYSIA doing in a startup event? Well, in next 5 years, 2 million jobs will be created in India, and almost 60 to 80% of those will be in startup and GCC. So if HYSIA, the Association of IT Industry, wants to shape future of Hyderabad, we have to prepare Hyderabad for getting startup, become magnet for the startup. And doing it all by ourselves will be short-sighted. It's important to stand on shoulders of giants, and that's where our collaboration with the mighty people like T-Hub, TIE, and ISF comes into picture. There is so much ground to cover. Couple of months back, we had offsite of HYSIA, where all the who's who of IT industry were participating. And we had a session by Ramesh, not Ramesh Kaza, Ramesh Loganathan, about startup and what can HYSIA do. So we were trying to understand that part. And when we asked the leaders that how many of you want to understand what they can do for the startup, almost all hands went up. So there's a large ground to cover there. And even when Sanjeev here said that he's invested in 5 startups and he's working with 5 other startups, I wanted to know more. So there's so much that we have to do for this movement from employees to entrepreneurs. And that is the movement that we would like to play part in, create awareness, create mentors, give opportunity, give the market access to the startups. There's lots that we can do together. And today we are signing MOU with ISF, and I am really looking forward to the MOU taking shape and actually doing some activities which will be game changer. HYSIA already has MOU with TIE. We have we've drafted the MOU for T-Hub. It has to be inked. We have already done also events with India partners. So we are on the rolls, and we are here to support you in whatever that you require from us. And thank you once again to Jay Garu for pulling us into this. Thank you so much.
In Jay Garu says, how come you're so early? Isn't Eid today? So I said, no, of course Eid is there, but you know, my commitment to you is much more. And so, I mean, and of course, Eid, we did our prayers in the morning, so, and I'm really happy to be here. First of all, I would like to say that Jay Garu was the first founder who actually initiated TIE in Hyderabad in 2003. So he has been associated with the startups, I think, for 30 years now, I must say. And his dedication, his passion, and his commitment to the startup ecosystem, to bringing and to actually nurturing wealth for the country is immense. And we see this what's happening today. The whole room is full, and we are all here. There is some charisma that we are all pulled in here. So thank you so much. TIE is indeed privileged to be part of ISF. We would love to, as you know, TIE also thrives on the 5 pillars of mentorship, funding, trying to education, funding, nurturing. So this is all the pillars of TIE, and which is very much pillars of ISF. And happy to collaborate, and we see a lot of TIE members who are already here, who are already mentors, and we will continue to do what we can. Thank you very much, and have a great day today. Thank you.
Yeah, and when he pulled me into ISF, he had me, at a spot where even if I had said no, it wouldn't have mattered. We were in the kicked this idea up in his head, and Jay, it really, depth of distance, VLK, where is VLK?
He escaped. He's gone, okay. So it's death of time. There is no opportunity to think and answer, right? So you have to say, your answer is yes, right? Okay, no. So, right? No, we're doing this, right? So it happened. This was in July. So, and end of July, pretty much. So August, September is all we had. And he pulled this off in October 1st. And it's better to say yes and then say yes, but. So in fact, this is my trick to you. You can't say no, but you can always narrow down your focus and say, at least I could, manage my time and my team's resources and all of that. Trust me that actually the focus, and I had 100 other things going on and still do. So the pitch session happened, and I will be the first person to stand up and say, it was fantastic, and in a very Indian way, it is fantastically chaotic, right? And something of a book material or a movie material. I think someday, wherever is Praveen, we hope to see you on a movie. 17 people who had to go through all of this, and you guys know the deal flow story, right? I don't have to tell you anything. And especially if you want to do justice to it, right? I mean, if you can just do and I've been part of academic life too, and where I know how this peer review happens on the research papers. It's not pretty. That is why great research doesn't come out usually. So we didn't want to be ad hoc about it, so we wanted to put a method to that madness. And doing that in a human process way is actually hard, but you can't do much in the 30 days that you had at that time. So we did it. And at the end of the first edition, regardless of all the great stories, I need one more mic. Oh, okay. So, all right. So I'll not turn back. How about that? Okay. So here you go. So then I actually went, I think just a day or two after that, I told Jay, this is absolute madness. You really can't. And then he was telling me 2,000 startups in that edition, 10,000 in the next one, right? So then I said, okay, I just up the kill count to 100x. A lot of people will die if you don't do this right. Then I went back and told him, we will try and digitize this as much as possible, okay? And that's a never-ending process, of course, and I don't think we are fully done yet. But I'll tell you this much, we can handle the 10,000 startups this time. At least we got to that kind of a process, okay? So. And you guys all have started the process. In fact, it actually started 2 weeks ago, Jay, in Bangalore. We asked all the startups to apply, and we went and told them, look, at least put some attributes of your startup in, some data, so that we can do a nice exercise, at least first round of matching, instead of just doing a random pairing of the investor panel versus the startups. But like, it's India, right? It's all jugaad. So people will show up, and in fact, I'll not tell you the name and all that. People will come. We're raising $100 million, and it's all confidential, and we need to put you in front of some investors. I said, good luck to you, man. Beyond that, I really don't don't know anything and can't say anything. But if you start getting simple things, and as Satish said, right, it doesn't have to be a this mega million story. Something that makes sense in a context, and that's what the platform does. So Entropy is a platform. Many of you, in fact, I'll give you the statistics, and I say this as a reminder that all of us should commit to this process. So 1,001 is where we cut off the registration for this event, and 120 of them were redundant, right? So they will put the same entry in multiple names, multiple emails. You filter all that out. Exact count is 880. Okay. Out of that, 67 have actually put the data to a point where we can process it. Okay. Another 100 have put also have put the data to a point where we start thinking about it, right? It's really not going to end in a meaningful outcome of matching, right? So I have one request from all the startup entrepreneurs here and elsewhere.